Hi again. Walter Rauschenbusch, Christianity and the Social Crisis, page 242, talking about the conditions and the health degradation of the working class in the latter part of the Victorian era and the first decade of the 20th century. This condition of exhaustion tends to perpetuate itself. Children are begotten in a state of physical exhaustion. Underfed and overworked women in tenement and factory are nourishing the children in their prenatal life. During the years when a working man's family is bringing up young children before their earnings become available, the family is submerged in poverty through these parental burdens, and neither the parents nor the growing children are likely to be well fed and well housed. Very early in life, the children are hitched to the machine for life, and the vitality which ought to build their bodies during the crucial period of adolescence is used up to make goods a little cheaper, or what is more likely, merely to make profits a little larger. Imagine that any breeder of livestock should breed horses or cows under such conditions. What would be the result in a few generations? Our apple orchards are planted in wide squares so that every tree has the soil, the air, the sunshine which it needs. If we planted a dense jungle of trees, we should have a dwarf growth, scraggy and thorny, and only here and there a crabbed apple. What harvest of humankind will we have in the broad field of our republic if we plant men in that way? The physical drain of which we have spoken is gradual and slow, and therefore escapes observation and sympathy. But it is the lot of the working people, in addition to this, to suffer frequent mangling and mutilation. A workman who tends one of our great machines is pitted against a monster of blind and crushing strength and has to be ever alert, like one who enters a cage of tigers. Yet human nature is so constituted that it grows careless of danger, which is always near, and cheerfully plucks the beard of death. Unless the machines are surrounded with proper safeguards, they take a large toll of life and limb. The state accident insurance system in Germany has revealed a terrible frequency of industrial accidents. We have never yet dared to get the facts for our country, except in mining and railroading. But it is safe to say that no country is so reckless of accidents as our own. It is asserted that 1 in 8 of our people dies a violent death. The Interstate Commerce Commission in October 1904 stated that 78,152 persons had been killed on the railroads in the previous 10 years, and 78,247 had been injured in the single preceding year. Anyone who has ever been through a railway accident knows what a horrible total of bloody and groaning suffering these figures imply. Yet few railways voluntarily introduced automatic car couplers to lessen one of the most frequent causes of accident. They resisted legislation as long as they could, introduced the automatic couplers as slowly as they could, and are now resisting the introduction of the block system in the same way. Yet automatic coupling reduced the number of men killed from 433 in 1893 to 167 in 1902, and the number injured from 11,000 to 2,800, in spite of the fact that the total number of employees had greatly increased during those 10 years. The same resistance met the efforts to guard the lives of sailors by the Plimsoll mark, and indeed almost every effort to compel owners to provide safety appliances or to make them liable for accidents to their servants. It is dividends against human lives. All great corporations have agents whose sole business it is to look after accidents and see that the company suffers as little loss as possible through the claims of the injured. Yet many are injured in railway work and elsewhere because long hours in the service of those same corporations has so worn them down that their mind was numb and they were unable to look out for themselves. I'll put in a link to how power makes callous. And the example from the Old Testament that Walter Brueggemann draws upon is the story of Naboth's vineyard and the machinations of King Ahab and his wife Jezebel to to gain the inheritance that was every family's right in ancient Israel.